Hello, welcome to Briterion Sports. This is me, Kevin. This is my friend Byron. Say hi, Byron.
How's it going?
And so I told you on our movie podcast that I was going to have a few different podcasts. One on film, one on series, one on sports, one on music. So this is our sports podcast. So Briterion Sports, it's our first episode of this. And this is good timing, I think, because there's something, there's a shocking event that just kind of happened over the weekend, and that's the trade of Luka Doncic to the Lakers from the Mavericks, and that's really kind of shocking the world. So it's like no better time than now to give our takes on that, right, Byron?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, so I'll give my take first. So I think this is a great trade for the Lakers, and this is a horrible trade for the Mavericks. I personally think so. I think the Mavericks are really going to regret this. And I don't know why he got traded. I mean, I guess they're saying because of his weight, he's too fat, or I'm hearing that he complains too much is what I've heard. He complains to the refs, and he's like kind of too reckless. That's kind of what I'm hearing. But to me, if I was the Mavericks, I would just take all of that. I would be like, hey, he's a star player. He's a great player, regardless of little stupid things. We'll kick his ass, in the off season to get his weight down. We'll just have someone on his ass, burning fat off him, in the off season. But he's not a player that you trade. To me, this is like trading Babe Ruth. The Red Sox trading Babe Ruth to the Yankees, and they're cursed for 80-something years. I could see the Mavericks being cursed for this. Like Luka is the new Babe Ruth. He probably weighs more than Babe Ruth, honestly, at this point. And because he's taller too. But I could see this really, cursing the Mavs, and I could see even the Lakers possibly even winning the title this year. Like if this gels quickly, I could see them probably winning the title this year. I mean, they're in 5th place in the West, right? And the Mavs are in 8th. I mean, they might not even make the playoffs. So I could see the Lakers making a good run. If this gels, which I think it will. I could see the Lakers winning. Not just this year, but obviously beyond, because Luka's still pretty young. He's not very old. He's got a lot of talent, and so I see this as a Lakers victory, this trade. I mean, what do you think, Byron?
Yeah, I think overall it's a win for the Lakers. When you look at LeBron being 40 years old, having 1 year left on his contract, Rob Pelinka knows that he has to look at the future, and what better star to get than a 25-year-old star in Luka Doncic. I was shocked just like everybody else, but I think this was a good move just for the fact that now you have your star. He just got the Mavericks to the finals last year with Kyrie, which was really impressive. And I think a year or two before he got to the Western Conference. So he's shown the NBA and the world just how good he is at a young age. And for us to get him right now, he's about to turn 26. We'll have many of years to possibly see championships with him. And just like Kevin said, if they get it right, they can get it this year. If not, LeBron will probably stick around for 1 or 2 more years. They can possibly win it with LeBron, just those two, if the chemistry's well. So, we'll see if they win. I know Dallas will be looking like maybe they shouldn't have did it. And on Dallas's side, they're going to hope that Anthony Davis, provides them with the championship. So I think whatever team wins is the winner of the trade. But I do like the Lakers getting him just for the fact that we've always had stars in LA, and what better than a young star in Luka Doncic to be the next star for the Lakers. So it was a good move, and I think that championships will probably follow it. So
yeah, I mean, you legitimately think that? Because I do. I think it's very possible.
Yeah, I think within a 2-year span, if everything goes right, if not this year, I think next year we definitely can pull out a championship.
Yeah.
I think he's that good. I think Luka's that good, and we already know what LeBron is. So.
Yeah. I mean, even though LeBron probably won't be playing that much longer, maybe 2 years at the most, probably,
Right.
I think this kind of will give him a second wind. I think him seeing, Luka on his team, it's like, this guy's good.
Yeah.
Like, now I can really ball out with him,
It can almost re-energize him for the simple fact that it's another star. You get complacent knowing your star, and he's been with Anthony Davis, I think, for 6 seasons. Now you get a new star, it can kind of bring new life to you. And he's on his way out, but what better way to end it than with another championship? It'll be Luka's first, it'll be LeBron's 5th. And I truly feel like if they connect well, they can get it done. LeBron has won with every team and every star he's been paired up with. So this is another star, and it's worked before, so I think it can happen again.
Yeah, and he can kind of pass the baton on to Luka, after he retires, right?
Right.
Everyone was shocked by this trade. It was like Saturday night, late. I was just on Facebook, and stupid memes always pop up on Facebook, and then I saw something where I saw Luka in a Lakers jersey, and I was like, oh, this is just some stupid meme or whatever. And then I took another look at it. I was like, wait, there's something weird about this. So then I did a little more research, and then it was like, yeah, Luka to the Lakers, and I was just in shock. I was like, what the fuck? What were you doing when you heard?
Yeah, I was laying down, and I got a text from a friend talking about the trade, and the first thing I did was immediately check my phone. Went on Google, went on ESPN. And I saw the reports, and I was like, wow, this is an actual real trade, and it was weird because usually in trades you hear rumblings, you hear some kind of talk. There was no talk of the Lakers trading there were talk about Laker trades, but not for Luka Doncic. So I think the fact that they pulled this off is surprising, and I don't think there was anybody that saw this coming.
No, I mean, if we didn't, if Chris Broussard didn't see this coming, there's no way we saw it.
Yeah, and these are analysts that do this for a living. So.
Yeah, exactly. So this was a total shock. I really wasn't expecting this at all. And I know this wasn't coming from Mark Cuban, because he doesn't have majority ownership of the Mavericks anymore, so he doesn't make as many calls on things like he could before. And I heard before, when Luka was first started blowing up with the Mavs, he said Mark Cuban said, you probably see me getting a divorce before you see me trading Luka. So that shows you how much he loved him. So I don't think it was his call, this trade. But yeah, I think it's a crazy trade, and it's like a weird trade. And then all of a sudden, this other trade with De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, like these are weird trades for the NBA. I don't know. These are this isn't baseball, guys. These are trades you see in baseball. These are trades you see in the NBA where they're looking at the analytics of shit and if we do this, we have more of a chance of winning. It's dude, just play the damn games. Whoever has the best players, will win the damn games. You know what I'm saying? And I feel basketball isn't like baseball. Baseball, there's too many variables. You can have the greatest players and still lose. You know what I'm saying? NBA, basketball, usually the teams who have the better players are usually going to win. You know what I'm saying? So I feel adding Luka to LeBron, that's just, I think it's going to be like a video game when you see these guys playing out there.
Yeah. Everybody that plays 2K, with this new roster, playing with Luka, he can do everything on the court offensively. So now that you can play with him and LeBron is going to be fun in the video game, and it's going to be funner to see it in real life. I plan to go to a game. I'm a Lakers fan. I've been a Lakers fan since I was a kid, and I just went to a game, and I didn't know that was going to be the last time I was going to see Anthony Davis in a Lakers jersey. So now that Luka's there, your revenue is going to go up. Stars will be out. They come out regardless, but with another, young star, this just brings more attraction to the team. And I think that the Mavs should have took the approach of the Golden State Warriors. And what I mean by that is, Golden State had young stars and Steph and Clay, but they let it pan out. And it took them a few years to win a championship. And if you look at Luka, he's been there five going on 6 years. And he's got to the finals only once. But the point is, he's only 25. And to pull the plug on him now, who knows what he's going to grow into. Some people say he's not even in his prime yet. And then if he is in his prime, he still has a long time to be in his prime. So I kind of feel like they maybe pulled the plug on him too early. And I'm glad that now the Lakers will have him in his prime. And, they're probably going to regret it if he goes on to win championships because you didn't give him a full. This is like a once in a lifetime kind of player to be this good this early. They said he's been pro since he was 13, and in his homeland.
Yeah, so. He was playing with Barcelona, and that's a professional team.
So he's like a vet.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I look at him young, but really in basketball years, that's 12 years, 13 to 25, right? So. He's been playing in the NBA 5, but he's been playing professionally since he was 13. He knows a lot about basketball. He's just a young man. So I think Dallas is probably going to regret this. And I agree with him. I think Mark Cuban didn't sign off on this. I don't think, the admiration he showed for him, he would have never wanted to trade him away. So
no, not at all.
Just surprising.
Yeah, no. And speaking of Barcelona, it's perfect. Luka, going to LA and he speaks Spanish, so he can, speak to all the Mexicans and
I think he's really going to fit well in LA. Dallas was good because Dallas is not a big market. So for a star like him, you're bringing Dallas more notoriety. It's a major city, but it's not LA. But I kind of feel like, I seen him get off the plane. He's already throwing up the LA sign. And I saw a video where I think Giannis said that he wants to see big stars in big markets. He's a star that's in Milwaukee, which is not a big market. So he can be more, he'll have more opportunities coming his way playing in LA. You know what I'm saying? I mean, possibly, maybe a movie role with LeBron. LeBron, does movies like you're in LA now.
Space Jam 2.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? So being in LA, not just playing for the Lakers, but being in LA brings other opportunities for big stars. And Luka Doncic is now going to reap the benefits of being in that city, I think.
Yeah,
playing for the Lakers.
I don't know. You've seen the shot of him with the holding up the LA gang signs or whatever.
Right. It just shows you he feels comfortable already.
Yeah,
he's not walking off like this. He's already embracing LA, right?
Yeah,
so I like that.
I have a feeling he was pissed at first, and maybe he was pissed on the plane ride.
Right.
He was pissed, but then he was like, he went through stages of grief. You know what I'm saying? Like, this sucks. I hate the ownership. I'm sad. He went through all these stages.
A lot of different feelings, emotions.
And then, before he landed, he's like,
I'm here now, though.
He's
right?
like, it's LA. Like, I'm happy. Like, I just got to embrace this. And then, so right when he gets off the plane, he throws up the signs. He's ready to go. That shows you, right? He's ready to go.
He shows you that I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's LA. Let's do it. And he did say, he wrote something. He wrote that I wanted to bring, this franchise. They already won with Dirk Nowitzki back in 2011, but he wanted to bring them another championships, and he wrote that. I read what he wrote, and he thanked the fans. So, that he gave them a short run at what he can do. He almost got him over the hump last year, and I'm pretty sure, like you said, he probably was feeling a little emotional. Maybe they blindsided him. I don't think they told him they were going to trade him. They just did it, But to play for the Lakers, to play with LeBron, that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing for certain. Some people will never play for the Lakers. Some people will never play with LeBron or never have. So I think once he got past the emotion of, leaving Dallas, he got excited about what's coming forth. And, if you're a Laker fan, I think you should be embracing this. Anthony Davis, great player. He helped get us a championship. But, Anthony Davis is injury-prone. He is older, so it's on to the newer, younger star, and we got him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And there's kind of some controversy with this because LeBron was saying he didn't know this was going to happen. He
was out to eat or something like that.
Yeah, he was out to dinner. Yeah, it was like, why does that stop you from not knowing? Like, just because you're out to dinner means you're not going to have your phone on.
And you're too big of a name on the team to not know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying every player knows, but why wouldn't you know LeBron? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it's not like you're not important to this team. So
I don't think Kinect knew, but
I don't know if Austin Reeves knew, but I'm pretty sure they ran it down you at some point.
Yeah.
You know, so,
I think this was orchestrated, honestly, because people who are actually buying this that he didn't know and only the leadership knew, they obviously didn't watch the LeBron and JJ Redick podcast shortly before JJ Redick joined them as the coach. They were gushing about Luka on their podcast, and they were saying like, Luka, he's the shit.
I didn't even catch that. Are you serious?
They were like, you can watch it right now. It's on YouTube.
That makes it more of a connection, right?
Obviously.
Because now he's a Laker.
Yeah,
so,
they were planning this. They're like, damn, if we can get Luka, like this will be.
Wow, that's news to me. Yeah. I saw some of the pod, but I didn't see the episode where they talked about Luka Doncic. I didn't see that. So.
Yeah, because JJ brought it up, like, how do you guard Luka, and then. And then LeBron was like, well, Luka's like a riddle or something. It was like,
it's hard to figure him out.
Yeah, I mean, but he said the way he said it, riddle, like he's like trying to fight Batman or some shit. Like he's
okay. And in that text,
he's like the Riddler or something. But like he said, because they were like really gushing about him. They're like, like you can't blitz him because he's gonna do this, and they were like really raving about him. So,
and ironically, that's who they get.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
even though we didn't see this coming, they were just raving about it.
This was orchestrated, I think.
Yeah,
I totally don't think this was unplanned. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And on top of that, I feel like they had to have known. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. I know the Mavs fans are pissed off. I've seen some footage where they're like protesting or like boycotting or whatever. They did like a funeral for Luka or like the Mavs or something.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. But I would be pissed off too because I mean that was their guy. And now he's a Laker. That's the big sports news that shocked over the weekend. Any other thoughts on the Luka situation?
No, I'm just waiting to see him play his first game. He's hurt right now, so we don't know when he's going to join the Lakers. But now it's just time for basketball. I want to see how the Lakers perform with him. How does JJ Redick, him and LeBron, I know LeBron's happy because he's on his team. I know guarding him, he could say it was a riddle, but now you have him by your side, so. It's going to be interesting to see how they make that try to work as far as how does JJ Redick go about coaching both of them together. But my final thought is I'm ready to see it. I'm happy as a Laker fan that they did it, and now it's just time to see if they can make it work.
Yeah, well, I had some other things to say about that. Like, it would be really interesting. This would be the two best case scenarios. Like as a fan, like either they meet in the Western Conference Finals, Mavs Lakers like that. Yeah. Either that or the play-in match. Like those would be the two best scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Like if they meet in like round one, it's like kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? Right. But like either that meeting in the Western Conference Finals or the play-in. You know what I'm saying? Like those would be the two best scenarios as a fan.
I think so because I think now it's like. To go against Anthony Davis and Kyrie, there's both history there for LeBron and both of them, and there's history there for Luka. Luka and Kyrie were teammates, and LeBron was teammates with AD and at Kyrie at some point. Yeah. So to beat both of his previous teammates,
exactly.
I mean, it would be bittersweet. Maybe like you want to win, but at the same time, you're beating two people that you've won championships with.
Right.
So as a Laker fan and as a fan in general. Maybe you do want to see that Dallas-LA matchup. And it would be more sweet if it's for a series that can lead you to the next round.
Yeah.
Which, a play-in series gets you to the playoffs. Western Conference gets you to the finals. And that is a possibility. It's funny. We're talking about that.
It's a high possibility.
It's a possibility. The Lakers are in 5th. Dallas is in 8th. And depending on how the shifts move, as far as the seeding moves, as far as the Western Conference, we can see that this year.
Yeah,
it's a real possibility.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and what do you think of the whole the whole reason of supposedly getting rid of him, like because he's too fat or whatever? Like, do you buy that, or do you think that's a good enough reason?
I don't think that's a good enough reason because the talent outweighs out the
Pun intended.
yeah, the talent outweighs
his weight.
His weight issue because he just got you to the finals last year.
Yeah.
Being overweight, quote unquote, or
Right.
out of shape. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I think you can always have him train differently. You know, go on eating regimens, maybe cut down on eating certain things. You can always work on his weight and conditioning. But what you can't escape is his talent and how good he is for his age. So you just gave up your franchise player at 25 that already showed you that, you know, he can carry your franchise at least to the finals. And just to give up on him because he's having weight issues, I don't know if that's good enough. And it's not like he's barely overweight. They probably want him to cut down a little bit, so I think it's manageable.
Yeah.
If he was completely overweight and couldn't run and was just like but then he wouldn't be the player that he is. So
Yeah.
I don't think that was a good enough reason to me personally. That was the reason they gave, was that they weren't happy with this conditioning, but you know, he's still a good player despite that.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't see it was a good enough reason to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, he's a big dude. I mean, Joker is big. You know, what I mean, like, you
There's
know.
been previous big guys that have won and have had, you know, Carmelo Anthony and Paul Pierce was never really that thin. He won a championship. I can name other players that, to me, were kind of similar in his size, and they were really good, and some of them won. Paul Pierce was one of them.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I don't think that was a good enough reason. When you have that kind of a talent, you still hold on to it. You don't just let it go.
Yeah. You think it was the Texas food that got to his weight, or do you think like
Possibly. I used to live in Texas. You know, I lived there for a couple years when I was a kid, and you know, they do give you a lot of food down there, and food is a big thing down there. So I could see that being maybe an issue being in Dallas.
but it's not like Zion's situation. Like,
But yeah, I think being in New Orleans is tougher. I've been there too. My mom's sister lives there, and the food there is really good, but it's very fattening, and I think it would be tougher to deal with food in New Orleans than Dallas. But Dallas and Texas, there is a lot of good food, and they give you a lot down there. So
yeah, I mean, so in LA, I think they're gonna have him on some vegan shit. They're like,
Yeah.
you know,
I think LeBron's going to get him on the right path.
Yeah.
You know, you got to spend a lot of time with him just because he's arguably the best or second best player, and LeBron takes care of his body. So who better to go to than someone that you know knows how to keep himself in shape?
yeah, he's just a gym rat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just loves being ripped. You know.
He lives and dies basketball, and you know you can't do that at a high level without keeping your body in shape. So you know, if he could take a page out of LeBron's book, I think he'd be good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think he will. I think he will slim down a bit. You know.
I think he's going to now because he hears it from a lot of people.
It's become an issue now.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
when something's not really glamorized and put out there like that, you may not feel that important to do it. But now that people are knowing that that's the issue,
Yeah.
I think he's not just going to do it for himself, but he knows that other people are looking at him to do that. We
Yeah.
are talking about it.
Yeah.
It got our attention, so
Right.
I think Luka has to know that. So Luka's going to say, well, they know that I need to do it for myself, for my team, but I know that I'm also having other people address my issue of my weight. So I think with all that pressure, I think he has no choice but to it has to be looked at, and he has to do something about
I
it.
think he's gonna want like a revenge body, quote unquote. He's gonna be like,
Yeah,
he might I'm fat fuckers. Like, I'm gonna
He
get
might
ripped.
come out a whole new person. You never
Yeah.
know. This
Yeah.
can motivate him to be a whole different look as far as
he's gonna look like he was
soon.
in Street Fighter. Like after this.
Kind of show everybody like, oh, you want to talk about me like that? I'll show you.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get ripped. So,
it should be interesting.
Yeah.
And you know, okay, say they do win a ring this year or next year, and LeBron's still on the team. That would, like you said, it would be his 5th ring, right?
Right.
I still don't think that puts him in the conversation with Jordan, you know, as the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because he has a 5th ring, I still feel like Jordan is still the greatest of all time. So,
yeah.
what do you think of that?
I feel he's in the conversation, but I feel that he still falls short. And I feel he falls short not just for rings. You know what I'm saying? I think the rings makes him closer, because that is a big thing that people look at when it comes to who's the greatest of all time. But I think what separates Jordan and LeBron is, mainly for me is his defense. And, you look at Jordan's defense in his career, he won all-team defense, I think 9 times. I know it was multiple times. I don't think LeBron's won it that many times.
No.
He hasn't won it 9 times, but I think he's only won it maybe a couple of times is what I'm saying. And so that's the main thing for me. I think LeBron can do everything good. He's not a bad defender. He's the leading scorer of all time. He's got all these different achievements. But I think Jordan played both ends exceptionally well. He never lost in the finals, which matters to me.
Yeah.
So that means whenever the stage got the biggest, he always shined. LeBron, unfortunately, got there more times, but he failed more. So, you have to account for that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and Jordan, he was a beast on both ends, on D and O.
I think people forget how good he was defensively.
Yeah.
Because you just see the dunks and all
the
flair.
exactly.
And he was doing his thing on the defensive end. He was one of the best defenders out there.
Yeah, I mean, dunk looks sexier than a bunch of steals, like a steal montage. You know what I'm saying?
So people tend to not focus on that, but it was there if you look at the tape.
No, for sure. He was a beast, obviously. And it's funny because I was talking to this guy at work because he knows basketball, and he's a big Knicks fan. And I like the Knicks too. I'm kind of root for them because they haven't won in so long. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's New York. And I like a lot of New York teams. But like he's a big Knicks fan, and I was like, I think they have a good shot. They have a good shot to win in the East. Make the finals. That would be awesome. I mean, how lit that would be.
Just for that team to get back there. Yeah. I think they haven't been back to the finals since
'99, right? That lockout year, right?
Right. Yeah. Latrell Sprewell, and I remember some of those players.
Yeah, Larry Johnson. Like when he hit that shot, it was like,
right. Like the arena erupted.
Yeah, exactly.
It was crazy.
He hits a shot, it's like dead silent. You can hear a pin drop. It was after he hit that.
That was a moment.
Yeah.
I still go back and look at that moment sometimes.
Yeah, if we could bring that in, then it's like the Knicks in the finals. That would be awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Because New York is a big market, and they should be in the finals.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because of how big they are.
Right.
And they've had stars. Carmelo's been there, and you had John Starks and Larry Johnson.
Yeah, Ewing back in the day.
And now you got Jalen Brunson, and you just had to trade for
Cat.
Yeah. You might have a chance. And part of me is rooting because being a Laker fan, I don't want the Celtics to go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like they're probably the second or third best team. Besides the Celtics, I know the Cavs are doing good right now. They're the best team, but I don't think they have the experience in the playoffs to go far.
That's what I've been telling people. Like, even the guy who's a Knicks fan, we agreed, like, Cavs they're the type of team that'll do great and then lose in the first round. They'll get swept in the first round.
They're kind of like OKC.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I like Shea a lot. Shea Alexander is great.
Yeah.
But OKC doesn't have the experience. They're a little too young.
Yeah.
So they're a good season team, but then when things get intensified in playoffs, and if you don't have that experience or that leverage to be like, I've been through this, you're going to fold most likely.
Yeah.
And so
especially in basketball.
I look at them the same way. Yeah. The OKC and them
Cavs,
and Cavs are the same way. Like, you're good season teams, but I don't think you're ready for the
you're not built for the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but anyways, I brought the whole Knicks stuff thing because I was saying, Knicks seem like they could do good in the playoffs, and then he's like, we'll see how the matchups go. It depends on the matchups. That's what he was saying.
That's true.
And then I was telling him like a theory that I had for a long time, where I was like, to me, I don't believe in matchups. You know what I'm saying? Like think of all the times Jordan won. Like you're saying he matched up great against every team he played. He played during that whole run, like all 6 of those years. Every time playoff, his team matched up great against them. You know what I'm saying? That's why
you don't think
they
that's
won.
What it was?
No, I don't think so. But it's funny because I brought that up, and he was like, "Oh well, Jordan, you don't even throw him into the equation. He's on another level." You know what I'm saying? He's like he broke the algorithm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's
he's on his own playing field.
And so that goes to show you that he is the greatest because it didn't matter the matchups, quote unquote. You know, it was his will to win.
And the thing is, can you say that for any other player?
Yeah.
And until you can say that for somewhere else, he's going to be alone in that category of being the greatest.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
you say that for Kobe? Can you say that for LeBron or anybody else?
Exactly.
If you can't say that, then it's Jordan.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Hands
just him.
down.
It's just him.
There's no argument.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, but think about it. That would be something. Knicks, Lakers in the finals. You know what I'm saying?
East, West.
Echoing.
Both two the biggest cities,
Yeah.
both two biggest markets.
Echoing the Dodger, Yankee. You know.
I would like that matchup.
Yeah. And then think of the storylines. I mean, Brunson was on the Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? Like, if those two teams face each other, the Mavericks are going to look fucking horrible because it's like we got rid of these guys. You
And
know
they're
what I'm
both
saying?
in the finals
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Luka's been there already.
Yeah.
Brunson will be there for the first time.
Yeah.
And they let go of both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would just make Dallas look like, I don't know if that was the right move.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when Brunson started killing it the past couple years, I'm like, dude, imagine if this guy was still on the Mavericks, you know, with Luka and Kyrie.
But I kind of feel like he needed to go to kind of do that.
Yeah, he needed to branch out.
It was the same thing if you look at James Harden. Everyone says, oh, they should have stayed together.
Yeah.
James Harden wouldn't have went to Houston and did all that if he would have stayed on OKC.
Right.
You know,
he
and that's where
to leave.
That's where he became the guy that we all know, one of the best scorers of all time, and broke a lot of records scoring wise. But he had the keys to the city, to the team in Houston. He didn't have that in OKC. So I think Brunson the same way. But I also think if Brunson would have stayed, he could have been their catalyst to get past maybe like a Celtic team to help get past them. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the problem with the Mavs is they lack depth. They didn't have enough. Kyrie and Luka, if they're not on, you don't really have a lot of help.
Yeah.
You know, Brunson could have been that third leg.
Yeah,
where it
exactly.
was like, okay, they're not on, but then you got Brunson to kind of carry it.
Yeah, exactly. But isn't that what's crazy is like him, you know, Brunson and like you said, Harden, like you don't know how great you are until you leave. You know what I'm saying? Like
it happens that way.
You know, you're so like in the shadow of others, and then you feel like you have a glass ceiling. So it's like you have to kind of just
playing with other players, especially so great like LeBron hinders you. You know, you look at Brandon Ingram, you look at D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah,
they both became all-stars.
Right.
Not under LeBron.
Yeah.
They had to go. One had to go to Brooklyn. One had to go to New Orleans, and they've had more success. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, you know, I don't think they regret playing for LeBron because you learn from him. You know, he's one of the best players. So it's like it wasn't a bad thing. But ultimately, to get to the next level, as far as being that ultimate player that you want to be, you had to be out of the shadow of someone like LeBron. You had to be on kind of where you have more leverage to do. You could be the guy, you know, in those teams, and so.
Yeah, and sometimes you see it in music groups too. Like, I mean, I know we're talking about sports here, but I mean, we're Renaissance men, and we know about different fields, and you know, we plan on doing a music podcast as well. But like, I've seen it in groups like you know, Pink Floyd, their original, you know, singer, lead frontman, he left the group. He left the group. Sid Barrett is his name. Because he was kind of going crazy. He was doing a lot of drugs and stuff like that. So he kind of left, got kicked out of the group because of that. But it was kind of like, well, he was your main songwriter. How you know, who's going to write the songs now? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was your frontman. He was your singer, your main singer, and your songwriter. So and your main guitarist. So it's like, you know, where do you go from there? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But somehow, I think they were like, oh, there's a void now. So we kind of have to pick up the slack. Yeah. And that's, you know, they brought in the guy David Gilmour, and he's a great guitar player. He's way better than Sid Barrett. You know? And then Roger Waters decided, hey, I'm going to write the lyrics, and he's a fucking great songwriter. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it works like that, but then you look at a group like TLC, music, I think they found a replacement for Left Eye, but it didn't work.
No.
It's so, you know, it's just like sometimes you can't always have the same chemistry. When you were replacing someone. Obviously, she died. We all know what happened with her, but they tried to go on, and it just wasn't the same.
But I feel like in that situation, it was like too late in their career, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like, their prime had already passed.
This was after the No Scrubs album, whatever it was called.
I mean, she passed later on. You know what I'm saying?
So it was a little different, but I was just bringing that up, and
it doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
No matter the timing of it. You know, it can, and that was a good example of that in Pink Floyd, but the TLC one didn't work. Yeah. I mean, and I'm reminded, because it also happened in the group Depeche Mode.
because their main guy, who was their main singer, songwriter, well, not singer, but he was their main songwriter and producer, he left after the first album. They did their first album, it was a hit, and he was like, oh, peace out, like, I want to do some other shit. So he left, and they're like, it's like, where do we go from here? But then the guys who were left over ended up, writing the songs and making even better songs than that dude who left. You know what I'm saying?
So
it's
sometimes it can work out.
Yeah.
And sometimes groups can go on and have success without the star. A good example of that is New Edition.
Yeah, exactly.
New Edition,
losing.
Their biggest hits was with Bobby, but guess what? They broke off and did Belle Biv DeVoe, which had Poison.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't let they got Johnny Gill. They didn't let Bobby Brown leaving them compromising where they're done. So they're a good group where it was success with Bobby and without Bobby. I should say.
Yeah, exactly.
And we saw that.
They were able to each have hits like either BBD
and by themselves.
Yeah, and
BBD
solo.
And solo, right.
And then not just that, but Michael Bivins, he basically found Boys to Men.
Did he start finding people?
Yeah.
What was the other group?
ABC. Yeah, right. Another bad creation. Yeah.
So they didn't let Bobby Brown's departure let them fall to the ground. They kept going.
Yeah.
Which was great.
So kind of what we're trying to say is Jalen Brunson is like the Roger Waters of basketball, basically.
You could put that. Like
that. Basically. Yeah. So this Luka trade was crazy, but there's other things going on in the sports world. We're coming up. Super Bowl's coming up this weekend, right?
Yeah. This Sunday. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So Chiefs. Eagles, right?
Yeah, and I think this is a rematch from a few years ago.
Right.
I don't follow football that well, but I know they played and the Chiefs got them. So this is revenge. If you're an Eagle, you're trying to get revenge, and if you're a Chief, you're going for the three-peat, and you're trying to get them again. So it's going to be interesting. I'm
rooting for the Chiefs because I like this dynasty. I don't like all dynasties. Like I like dynasties in general, but I hated the Patriots, and I don't really like the Cowboys either, so I don't really like that dynasty.
Yeah.
But other dynasties I do really like. I love the 49ers when they were winning in the 80s and 90s, and I really like this Chiefs dynasty. I think Mahomes is great.
Yeah.
And I could already see, like, I could tell, like, Patriots fans and even Tom Brady are rooting against the Chiefs because this would set them apart. If they win this third in a row, because that hasn't been done. You know what I'm saying, in football.
This would be his fourth ring in 7 years, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom Brady didn't do that.
Yeah.
He won 7, but it took him a longer span.
It was spread
I
out.
believe, right? So that's impressive. In 7 years, you got 4, and you got a three-peat within the 4.
Yeah, exactly.
That's already in Joe Montana range.
Yeah,
he had
exactly.
4.
Yeah.
So you're really like the second most for a quarterback, because obviously Tom Brady's alone with 7, but you're basically in GOAT territory. You're already kind of hovering it if you're Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But if you win this, you're in conversations. I would say at that point. Like,
he already is.
I'm not going to say you're going to crown him, but you're definitely in serious conversations because you did something that Brady never did.
Right.
And I want to see him do that. You know, I like Tom Brady. I think he's the GOAT, but I feel like if the Chiefs win this, which I feel they will, I feel like the conversations are really going to heat up as far as and Patrick Mahomes is going to turn, I believe, 30 this year.
Yeah, he's still pretty young.
Still young, you know. In quarterback terms, you're getting up there, but look at Aaron Rodgers. He's playing at 40. Now, I'm not saying he played good, but we've seen old players play.
Yeah.
Shit, Tom Brady played till he was 45. I think Brett Favre played when he was 39, 40.
Something like that,
when he left the Packers, right? So it's possible. And so if he gets this, you know, not only is he in GOAT conversations, but how many more can he get? And unless they break this team up, which would be the dumbest thing ever, you got a great coach in Andy Reid. You got Travis Kelce, which is one of his main targets.
Right.
And I kind of feel like, I have to say this, the good luck charm is actually his girlfriend, which is Taylor Swift. I kind of feel like they were winning.
I think you're right.
Without her, but I feel like ever since she's came along, you know, I see her in the stands, and it just feels like they play good every time she's up there. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I've told people this, and I truly believe that. Like, she's like a good luck charm.
No, I think you're right. I think when you have, like, a good girl by your side and you're an athlete, it really helps you out.
It inspires you to it just brings the best out of you.
Like in 2009, when the Yankees won and A-Rod actually was hitting the ball good that postseason, who was on his arm? It was Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson was his girlfriend at the time,
I didn't know
and
that.
she was in the stands, and it was like you see Taylor, it was like the same sort of thing.
It was the same kind of thing, right? But he played good when she was up
yeah,
there,
exactly.
Right? So
he was killing it, and it was like she was like the good luck charm. So I mean, I guess Taylor is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I would coin her as that, yeah.
And it's perfect because it's like she's the biggest music star in
She's
the world,
a billionaire.
and this
People
is the
forget that. Yeah, she's huge.
And this is the biggest football team. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So it's hand in hand.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
You
just
got
like
the biggest.
perfect. This is like a monarchy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
really
it doesn't get any more perfect than this.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
Let's see history be made. You said this is the first time?
Yeah,
because
no other football team has three-peated.
Right.
So
they
this
only
could
did
be the
back-to-backs.
first.
They've never did three-peats.
Exactly. And they've already gone further than any other team because any other team that went back-to-back, they hadn't gone back to a third Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
They never even attempted to do
Yeah, they never even got to that point. And actually, they didn't even get as, I think, like the playoffs, like one of the rounds, like the second round was like the highest they ever got. They didn't.
They didn't even get. Yeah,
they didn't get to like the Eastern final or AFC final, whatever the hell. So they're already like, top that.
They already topped that, and now they have a chance to actually do it, to do it all.
Yeah, exactly.
So a lot of people were going to go against them making history, but I feel like this is it. Why not root for history? Why not? And Patrick Mahomes just to me, he also has a likable personality. He's not a person that, if you root against him, it's just because he's good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not because
you can't hate him.
Yeah, he doesn't come off like he's too arrogant, too cocky. He just he is who he is, and people want to root against him. It's only because he's winning, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, he's a humble dude.
Yeah, he's a humble guy. So why would you want to go against someone like that?
Yeah,
you're kind of just hating him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I look at it, but.
And to me, Mahomes, he's like the Obama of football to me. You know what I'm saying? Like biracial,
in that regard.
Loved by everybody,
People like to,
loved by everybody except idiots, basically. And then like Kansas connection, you know what I'm saying? He's Kansas City, and then I think Obama's family is from.
There's a connection.
His mom is from Kansas or something like that. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Because I remember him writing like in his book or whatever. Yeah. Audacity of Hope.
He wrote about that?
Yeah, he was saying like, he's like, I always felt special or different because my mom is from Kansas and my dad is from Kenya. So it was like,
Two K's, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Kansas and Kenya now. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So to me, Mahomes, he is like beloved. He's like the Obama of the NFL to me, And you're rooting for the Chiefs, right? For a particular reason?
Yeah, I actually bet a coworker, and he feels that a lot of my other coworkers felt that it's rigged, and I don't want to go there. And they say, "Well, haven't you seen the games? The referees are rigging it for the Chiefs. For some reason, everybody wants the Chiefs to win." And the coworker that I'm betting against, he honestly feels the Eagles are going to win. So I said, hey, okay, I honestly feel the Chiefs are going to win.
Right.
Whether it's rigged or not, we don't know that, but we're honestly just betting against each other. And I told him, may the best man win.
Right.
But, it's a small wager, just putting up $20, but,
it's the principle of it.
I was willing to bet on the Chiefs. I'm confident in them. I betted on them last year and they won. And I'm going to do it again. I'm doing it again this year.
Well, I don't know if you saw what Nick Wright was saying. So Nick Wright, he's a big-ass Chiefs fan, and I don't know if I think it's just he's a big Mahomes fan and just the history of it and stuff. I think that's what it is. I don't think he grew up a Chiefs fan.
The Chiefs, yeah.
He's becoming a fan through their run.
Right.
But he was on Dan Patrick's show, and he's like, oh, people talking shit. I'm paraphrasing him. He's like, people talking shit, think they're cheating, think it's rigged. He's like, if it's rigged, why don't you bet on them? He's like, because you'd be winning as much money as I've won betting on them.
They're the smart bet, right? If it's rigged, then you. Yeah.
He's like, if it's rigged, your ass could be rich now.
Yeah. That's how I look at it. Yeah. I mean, I honestly think they're going to win, but also if you're going to go that route, then why wouldn't I go for them anyway?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
If it is rigged, you'll win money.
Exactly. I want the money out of it.
So I thought he made a good point by saying that. So. Yeah, rooting for the Chiefs, and I mean, and Mahomes is like, that's the thing, and I don't know that much about football either. I'm not the biggest NFL guy, but I know that once you win 2, you're considered an elite quarterback. So he's already
that.
Yeah,
he has 3 actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so he's past elite. He's on something else, and if he does this, he's in the GOAT conversation, but it's because he'd be doing something that Brady never did, and no one else ever did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Puts him in,
we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm rooting for him big time. And, and on a side note, that's why I always felt like Eli Manning is an elite QB because he won 2 Super Bowls.
That makes him
at
least elite. Like you said, 2 is the, if you win 1, you still could be that, but your stats have to be amazing too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers only won 1.
Yeah,
but some people might put him still as an elite quarterback
because of his overall stats.
Because his overall career and stats. Yeah. And then you look at some people like Dan Marino never won, and some people consider him an elite quarterback. And he can be an exception because he never won a Super Bowl, but he was a heck of a football player.
Yeah, some people still say he's the best, even regardless whether he won any or not. You know what I'm saying?
So that shows you how good he was. He has no rings to his name, but he's considered to be, in some people's eyes, the guy. So it all depends. But definitely Eli for 2. I think Drew Brees can be in the conversation. Definitely Peyton Manning. I think he has 2.
Yeah.
So there's a few quarterbacks. I like Joe Montana. I think he's
got 4, right?
He's second, and then Mahomes is going to be with him as far as rings. But I think Montana was the GOAT until Brady passed, in my opinion. So,
just for sheer
numbers, the rings, and then he had one of the best receivers too in a lot of his career, which was Jerry Rice. But I just thought Montana was a great quarterback, even when he went to the Chiefs. He played for the Chiefs.
Exactly.
Remember that?
Chiefs.
He did pretty good
95,
there. Yeah, I remember that. He played for them for a little bit, and he was just always the quarterback that I looked at as the guy. But there was a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We can talk quarterbacks
Exactly.
all day.
Yeah. I mean, I liked Steve Young. When
Steve Young, John Elway, Troy Aikman. There was a lot that I liked.
Yeah. I mean,
Jim Kelly on the
he was great on the Bills. Yeah.
They kept losing, but he was a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah, but he was great.
So there was a lot of, especially in the '90s. It was like there was a lot of. Because all these people were named, they were all in the 90s.
Yeah,
Steve
exactly.
Young and all these,
that just ties into the fact that the 90s was the best era in general.
We'll have to do a separate...
We're going to do a separate podcast on that. But
because in basketball, football, almost all sports, all music, the 90s was just a decade where everything was just at its peak to me.
Exactly.
That's when Jordan, got his championships.
Power.
And what is Jordan considered? The greatest of all time. So, that alone, you had hip-hop music at its peak. You had a lot of movies, you would say, at their peak. TV shows were at its peak.
Right.
It's just everything just kind of peaked.
Culture peaked in the 90s.
Yeah, because everything was at a high level. It wasn't just like okay stuff. It was like you're getting the best of the best.
Yeah, exactly.
At whatever art form it was, whether it was music, shows, movies, it was everything.
Exactly. Culture peaked in the 90s.
Kind of leveled off after that. You still had good stuff in the 2000s, but it just didn't outbeat what was done previous, which was the 90s.
It kind of slowly faded
away.
Slowly
faded.
But that's something for our other podcast. But on that note, thank you for listening to the first episode, Briterion Sports. Thanks, Byron, for being here.
Yeah, it was a fun time. I plan to do some more. So,
thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
See how that turned out.